but I know we'll prevail because we have the right team. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, I'd like to have Borough President Scott Stringer say a few words.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Jay and June. And I want to just say a couple things. First, about Charlie King. Charlie is known to many of us in New York City as a progressive activist working on a host of issues. Anytime there is an incident in this town that requires galvanizing community to fight back, he's been on the forefront. But what people don't all know about Charlie, that he's as comfortable upstate as he is downstate. Charlie King understands the issues facing rural New York. He understands issues facing the suburbs. He really is somebody who represents the whole state. And it's no surprise today in his opening remarks as our executive director that he is recognizing that we Democrats have to simply stay the course and act like Democrats. That we can't make the mistake that we sometimes make when we start to sound like Republicans because we've got to moderate. We have to suddenly, maybe they're onto something. I think Charlie King is going to continue to keep us as progressive Democrats talking about reform, talking about how we're going to improve Albany dysfunction, how we're going to create an energy to galvanize people to go work for the Democratic ticket. Now, he will have help. He's not going to do this alone. He has Steve Levy. He has Palladino. This is the dream team Bill de Blasio talks about. And all we have to do is point out every time they rant and rave and make racist remarks, every time they hit each other because they're trying to go more to the extreme position in one of the most progressive states in the country. So I think Charlie King has a lot to work with. He's got great people in Jay and June, and he's got a great group of people like us who are going to stand behind him and work with him both in this borough and around the city. And Charlie, I think this is something, I know you're going to take some great sacrifices, a lot of work, but this is a time when your party needs you and the state needs you. So congratulations.
And finally, before we take some questions, I'd like to ask Stuart Applebaum, our WDSU.
I'm Stuart Applebaum. I'm president of the Retail, Wholesale, and Department Store Union. And what I know is that working people in this state need a strong, energized, progressive, vocal Democratic Party. And what the Democratic Party needs is an enthused, active, and growing labor movement. And together, there is so much we can do to make New York a better place. Now, I want to thank Jay and I want to thank June, because I think they're providing the right leadership now in bringing Charlie on. I've worked with all of them a long time. I've worked with Charlie a long time. And I know, as someone who comes out of the labor movement, I'm excited that Charlie is in this new position, because we win this election on ideas. We win it on our ideas. And our job is to fight back against the lies and the distortions and the wrong values that the Republican Party has already been putting forward. And I know that Charlie King, with his determination, his values, his abilities, is exactly the right person to be leading the fight for us as Democrats, for us as working people. Congratulations, Charlie.
Now, anybody have any questions? We'll be happy to take them.
Jay, Scott Stringer just made a really good point, which was that the Republicans are doing your work for you. In fact, they're not attacking the Democrats much at all, and you don't have a declared gubernatorial candidate yet. I'm just curious what exactly you're pushing back against. The Republicans seem to be mostly
I think it's,
each other right now.
well, right now they are sort of banging away at each other. We're happy with that. I won't take anything away from that. But I will tell you that Republicans are making the argument around the state about what they say their leadership is going to be about, and we disagree with it. And the campaign has to start in terms of this Democratic Party operation right away. We've got 6, as I said, 6 statewide races. It's unusual to have that many. We have every congressional seat is up. We have the entire state Senate and State Assembly, more than 200 and some odd elected officials. We need a very loud voice. Charlie's going to be that loud voice, and he's going to get back to it.
Chairman, Mr. King, I'm confused about something. Is Andrew Cuomo running for governor? And if so, should he start answering more direct questions about his candidacy and about the issues, as you made clear, that are facing the state in a very serious way?
Well, to answer your first question, I sure hope so, and because he's the individual I see as being the winner, the person that can inspire New Yorkers to new, dynamic reform leadership. So I'm very hopeful that Andrew Cuomo will be our standard bearer. Now, when that race should begin, I would suggest we wait a little longer just to get through as much of the governmental season, if you will, with the budget up. A lot of things have to get finished up in terms of investigations in his office before the political season begins. But it will begin, and I don't think that Andrew Cuomo will be shy. You know him as well as I do. He will not be shy about making his case to the people of the state of New York.
Can I just follow up on that? Isn't that a little bit of a cop-out that, he has his government issues and the budget's going on? The other candidates are talking pretty, it might not be credible, but then at least they're giving some specifics about what they would do differently. Why shouldn't the Attorney General, if he is indeed getting into this race, as you suspect that he is, why shouldn't he at this time address that in the same sort of specific way?
I'll simply say this to you. The other candidates, most of them, don't have governmental jobs that relate to state issues the way Andrew Cuomo does. He was elected by the people of the state of New York to do the job of Attorney General. That is the job he is doing. He's working every day on that job. He has very important investigations that he is finishing up, and when that is done, he will get to make his case with the people. The fact of the matter is, as he has worked as Attorney General, I think it's been very clear that he has pushed and favored a reform agenda from the get-go. So the people have a good sense of who he is, what he's about. That's why he's also dealing with very positive poll numbers. I think there's a reason for it. Dan?
You've known a county executive or two in your day on Long Island. What is your take on Steve Levy's granting of this contract for title to a convicted felon?
Well, the dilemma I think that Steve Levy has is that the lyrics don't match the music. He talks reform, and the words are a little bit different. The action is different. And the pay-to-play that's been going on in Suffolk County is really exactly what's wrong with government. So he's the last person to be telling anybody else that he's going to come into New York State and then try to lead government in a reform manner. So, I think it's really clear. Hypocrisy comes to mind as a general term. But the lyrics really have to match the music in order for the people to begin to believe in you.
And the only thing that I would add to that, briefly, is that's exactly what this Truth Squad is going to do. People can run out there and say that that they're reformers. Well, that's fine, but let's see if what they say matches up to what they've actually done. And Steve Levy wants to talk about the fact that he's going to reform Albany. You got to look at what he's done in Suffolk County, and that's one of the worst pay-to-play that I've ever seen on a county-wide level.
What makes it worse than other places?
In terms of what? In terms of that he's getting hundreds of thousands of dollars from contracts, and to me, well, go ahead.
I would say what makes it worse is it's not in the details, it's not in the amount, it's not the money. It's when you're the candidate that stands before the people and says, I am holier than thou, I am going to clean up Albany, I am going to reform, and you are the perfect example of that which is needing reform. It is the hypocrisy in it that makes it worse than other things that we've seen.
Charlie, can we